She rolled her eyes at your joke. She acted completely unbothered when you walked in, gave you short answers, barely looked your way. And then the second you turned around, you caught her watching. So what's actually going on? Here's what most men don't realize. When a woman genuinely likes you but refuses to show it, her behavior doesn't look like attraction. It looks almost exactly like disinterest. And that's the reason so many guys walk away from a woman who is actually feeling them the whole time. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 specific things women do when they like you but are pretending they don't. These aren't random quirks. Every single one has a psychological reason behind it. And once you understand what's really happening underneath the surface, you will never misread those signals again. I'm Olivia. Welcome to Her Algorithm. Let's get into it. Number 1. She acts cold, but her eyes don't cooperate. This is the most common sign on this list, and it's also the most misread. She's casual around you, maybe even a little dismissive. She doesn't go out of her way to talk to you. She doesn't light up when you walk in. On the surface, she reads as completely unbothered. But here's the interesting part. Her eyes don't follow the script her behavior is performing. Psychologists call this involuntary gaze orientation. The brain instinctively tracks what it finds significant, even when the person is actively trying not to react. Research on nonverbal behavior by Nalini Ambati at Tufts University shows that attraction leaks through microexpressions and gaze patterns long before conscious behavior catches up. So what does this look like in real life? You're at the same party. She barely acknowledges you in group conversation. But every time you start talking to someone else, her eyes find you. And the second you glance her way, she looks down. Fast. That quick look away? That's not disinterest. That's self-correction. She caught herself staring, and she pulled it back. If she were truly unbothered, her eyes wouldn't drift toward you at all. Pay close attention to where her eyes go when she thinks no one's watching. That's always the most honest part of her. Number 2. She's suddenly unavailable, but only around you. She has time for everything. Her friends, her plans, her nights out. But when you try to make something happen, she's somehow always busy. Here's what's really going on. She's using busyness as emotional distance, and there's a very specific psychological reason for it. When someone feels like their emotional safety is at risk, like they might get too attached too fast, they pull back to protect themselves. Psychologist Jack Brem's work on reactance theory explains this. The closer something feels to her emotional center, the more her instinct is to create space around it. The busyness isn't rejection, it's a defense mechanism. Here's how you tell the difference between genuine disinterest and protective distance. With genuine disinterest, she's relaxed. She doesn't really register you. With protective distance, there's a slight tension there. The "I'm busy" response comes a little too fast, almost like it was ready before you even finished asking. She prepared that answer in advance. And here's the tell most guys miss. She cancels on you, and 20 minutes later, she's posting a story from a bar. That's not bad timing. That's her managing the situation emotionally, not logistically. She's not avoiding you because she doesn't care. She's avoiding you because she does. Number 3. She teases you more than anyone else in the room. She pokes fun at something you said. She gives you a hard time over something small. She's playful but sharp, and she seems to go harder on you than anyone else in the group. And you're sitting there wondering, is she being cold or is she flirting? Here's what's actually happening. Women don't invest that kind of energy into men they're indifferent to. Teasing requires close attention. It requires you to notice someone, track what they say, and choose to engage. Research in behavioral psychology shows that playful teasing activates the same neural pathways as flirtation. It builds tension between two people. And tension, when there's chemistry underneath it, is one of the most magnetic forces in human interaction. If she teases you, she has already let you into her emotional space. There's also something else going on. She's testing your frame. She wants to see if you crumble under a little pressure or if you hold your ground. Men who can take it and fire back with ease, that's exactly who she's looking for. Here's a real-world example. You say something in a group setting, and she's the first one to come back with a joke at your expense. Everyone laughs, including her. But you start to notice she only does this with you. Everyone else gets regular conversation. You get the sparring match. She singled you out. That's not nothing. Number 4, she never initiates, but she keeps showing up. She doesn't text first, she doesn't make plans, she doesn't reach out, but somehow she ends up at the same place as you are. The same coffee shop, the same gym class, the same weekend hangout. This is called proximity-seeking behavior, and it's rooted in evolutionary psychology. Women are socially conditioned to avoid making the first direct move because direct pursuit feels vulnerable. But the pull towards someone you're attracted to doesn't care about social conditioning. That part is biological, and it doesn't turn off. So she doesn't initiate, but she engineers situations where something could happen. She knows your general schedule. She knows where your circle tends to gather, and she positions herself close enough to see what develops, while maintaining complete deniability if nothing does. Here's what you need to look for. It stops feeling like coincidence. Coincidences don't have patterns. Patterns have intention. She's waiting for you to close the distance she's carefully created. The moment you do, the act drops quickly. But if you don't move, she'll keep orbiting and keep acting like it's just random. Number 5, she monitors who you're talking to, especially other women. She's not watching you, or at least that's the performance. But the second you get into a real conversation with another woman at a party, something shifts. She gets quieter, or louder. She drifts toward your side of the room without engaging. Her energy changes in a way you can feel before you can explain it. This is called mate guarding behavior, and it shows up even before a relationship is formally defined. Social psychologist David Buss has documented this pattern extensively. When someone has developed emotional investment in another person, the brain begins registering competition as a potential threat, even if that person hasn't made any official claim. What does this actually look like? Right after you've been deep in conversation with someone else, she suddenly wants to talk to you. She finds a reason to re-enter your space. Or later, she casually asks a mutual friend who that girl was you were chatting with. She won't admit she was watching, but the timing of her behavior right afterward gives it away every single time. Number 6, she tells her friends she's not into you, but she's been talking about you nonstop. To your face and to the wider world, she's completely unbothered. He's just some guy. We're in the same group, that's all. I don't even think about him like that. But inside her inner circle, she has brought your name up more times this week than she'd ever admit. She has analyzed something specific you said. She mentioned a moment from a group hangout. She asked a mutual friend very casually whether you're seeing anyone. Here's why this happens. Social deniability is a woman's emotional safety net. If she denies interest loudly enough, she insulates herself from the embarrassment of rejection. But genuine attraction doesn't stay contained. It leaks, and it always leaks into the most trusted space she has, which is her inner circle. Here's how you read the room on this. Pay attention to how her friends act around you. If they seem to know specific things about you that you never shared with them, if they smile at each other when your name comes up, If they seem oddly familiar with your life, she's been talking about you in detail. You've already been discussed more times than you know. Number 7, she notices everything about you, and she packages it as irritation. She mentioned your new haircut before you brought it up. She noticed you seemed tired on a specific day when nobody else clocked it. She made an offhand comment about the jacket you always wear. But here's how she delivers it. You're always wearing that same jacket. You were kind of quiet at dinner. It was weird. I don't know, you just seem off lately. The delivery sounds like mild annoyance, maybe even criticism. But think about what it actually requires to say those things. Sustained, detailed attention. You don't catalog the small specifics of someone you're indifferent to. The fact that she caught the new haircut, the subtle shift in your energy, the detail of the jacket, that level of observation only comes from someone who has been paying very close attention. And close attention is always a form of investment. The irritation is just a cover story. If she noticed, she cares. If she cataloged it, she's been thinking about you. The edge in her delivery is plausible deniability, dressed up as critique. So when she says something like, "You seem different today," in that slightly annoyed tone, hear the actual message underneath it. I have been watching you closely enough to notice. That's not nothing. That's everything. Here's the big takeaway from all of this. When a woman is hiding attraction, she doesn't go quiet and disappear. She goes sideways. Her interest shows up in where her eyes move, how she positions herself, who she monitors, how she teases, how she notices, and what she says to her friends when you're not around. None of it looks like a green light on the surface, but all of it is. The men who understand this stop chasing signals that look exactly like what they've been told to look for. They start reading what's actually there, and that changes everything about how they move. You don't need her to say it directly. Her behavior is already saying it. You just have to know how to listen. If this video gave you something real, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 signs you've personally experienced, because I have a feeling the comments are about to be very telling. And if you want to go even deeper into how female attraction actually works, the psychology, the biology, the signals, I've got a video right here that breaks it all down from a completely different angle. Go watch that next. I'm Olivia. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.